kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, dalas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong bangaw, ay hinatang tudla, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di matitigil. Luha ng araw ng walhating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Muna mong matulos tiya't langit, tumamalikeng kalibuta ngupugali mo. Laweng bibukid bedagat, may grasyang populos. Salamat naman sa pagmulat ng aking mga mata. Agad akong nanalangin para makausap ka. Pupunta ng simbahan kasama ang pamilya, walang ibang iniisip kundi ikaw lamang. Panginoon, salamat sa lahat, ang awit kong ito'y alay sa'yo. Panginoon, sandigan ko, minamahal at sinasamba kita. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alaihim. Ghairil maghdubi alaihim waladhdallin. Amin.
Ama namin sumasalangit ka, sinasamba namin ang ngalan mo. Ikaw ang dahilan kung bakit kami ay lumalaban. Hinahangad namin ang kapayapaan ng lahat, ang pagkakaisa ng bawat tao, tulong-tulong sa bawat laban. Gabayan niyo ang aming kinikilos. Kami patawarin mo sa mga salang ginawa na sa katauhan. Hinihingi ang iyong pagmamahal at karunungan, O Diyos Jesucristo na makapangyarihan, sa ngalan ng Ama, Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen.
Lumalaban sa problema na aming nadadatnan, ngunit Panginoon, nandyan ka sa aming tabi, umarawan o gumabi. Panginoon, salamat sa lahat, ang awit kong ito'y alay sa'yo. To thee we pledge our loyalty, our city's pride and honor. The future we will shape through thee. Hail quality education, we shall strive hand, heart and soul. Hard work, unceasing effort, we shall cling till we reach our goal. Let's be filled with gladness, dedication and deep commitment, for in the youth lies our nation's hope. Depth's mission and vision, with divine guidance will never fail. The fountainhead of wisdom, through thee our nation lives. Together we march onward, prosperity. Let's be filled with gladness, dedication and deep commitment, for in the youth lies our nation's hope. For in the youth lies our nation's hope.
Good morning once again and welcome back to all the participants. Maayong buntag. Let me share to you my screen first and allow me to share to you the objectives of today's orientation. Okay, so this orientation is to capacitate the participants on the operational guidelines with the emphasis on the school level preparation and financial operations. The orientation is also to orient the participants on the different SBFP forms that needs to be complied to ensure that the minimum health standards in the distribution process of the milk packs or milk bottles are met. And lastly, the orientation is to effectively discuss and address the issues and concerns about the program. So the next slide, this is the program flow of today's orientation. So we allotted 1 hour for the participants to log in. May I remind also all the participants, yung hindi po nakapasok because masyado na po tayong puno, this will be aired later on our DepEd page. And also, you can also check the link under the YouTube live channel, flashed on your screen. So we have the opening remarks to be given by our SGOD Chief, Dr. Teresita F. Del Valle, a message from our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Ma'am Marilyn V. Daduyo. So we have also the introduction of the participants, the orientation of the mechanics of the event. The next is the discussion of the outcome. The discussion of the outcome on the recently concluded division monitoring and the validation and the implementation of the school-based feeding program milk component, which will be given by our nurse in charge, Ms. Jill Michelle Coronel Ano. We have a 15-minute health break. And then after, we have the review on how to fill out the inspection and the acceptance report, or the IAR. We have allotted 1 hour for the lunch break. And then after lunch break, we will discuss the safety protocols, the reminders to the implementing schools on milk feeding and nutritious food product setup. We have the review of number of beneficiaries per school and the timeline of milk implementation, the SBFP report forms of the milk component. And please save your questions if you have any, because we have a 45 minutes open forum, which we also we invited participants and representatives from different agencies. We have our representative from NDA, Sir Warren. We have Sir Warren Pagdatu, the NDA representative from Region 11. You may ask question from him. And we also have with us our personnel from accounting section. If you have questions, they will be there during the open forum. So the last part of the orientation is the closing program, which will be given by our medical officer 3, Dr. Richelle Salcedo Aresco. So let's proceed. I'd like to welcome our SGOD chief to give her opening remarks. Let's all welcome Dr. Teresita F. Del Valle, our SGOD chief from the DepEd Davao City Division. Maayong buntag, Ma'am Tess.
Hey, maayong buntag sa tanan, no? Just first,
Ma'am
good
Tess,
morning.
are you around?
Yeah,
Maayong buntag.
yes, good morning.
Ayan, si Ma'am.
Ayan. Okay, good morning to all of you. First, let me pay my respect to our schools division superintendent, Rinaldo M. Giliana, to our assistant schools division superintendents, namely we have Marilyn V. Diduyo and Jinky Ferman, to our medical officer, Doc Aresco, to all the nurses in attendance, Jill, Roxanne, and Bitinol, Jasmine Bitinol, to all school heads, to the PSDSS who are around, to all feeding coordinators, and to all teachers in attendance, maayong buntag sa tanan. Good morning. First, I would like to commend the school health section for organizing this activity. Despite the pandemic, we're able to perform our tasks. No amount of pandemic. This pandemic won't deter us from doing our work, our task as a public servant. Thank you also to Gilbert for assisting us always. Whenever we need him, Gilbert is always there to help us. Now, for all the attendees to this activity, this is already your opportunity to listen to the guidelines that will be explained to you by the focal persons, and you can ask questions later. If you have some clarifications, it was announced naman lately that an open forum will be held, 45-minute open forum. So that is your opportunity to ask questions to be clarified. No, because it's not easy for you to go to the division office. Limited po ang tinatanggap na bisita. So this is an opportunity for you to ask questions, particularly sa finances, okay? So do not hesitate to ask questions. Kung nahiya kayo, then request somebody to ask that question. Or there is a chat box here. You can write your question. Importante, after the orientation, walang cobwebs, walang doubts sa inyong isip, so that we will be able to perform, to deliver what is expected of us, okay? Importantly, in the division office, we want you to take care of yourself. What will happen to the programs and projects of the division? If tayo magkasakit, mapasama tayo sa pandemic, wag naman sana. So take care of yourself, because sa mga sinasabi ko before, marami po ang nangailangan sa atin, di ba? Our family needs us, family and friends, kailangan tayo, particularly DepEd needs you. You are needed by the school heads, by the principal. Paano na lang kung maraming magkasakit na taga DepEd? My advice to you is do some mental and physical exercises to keep you calm and healthy. Aside from usual na sinasabi na social distancing, wear your mask, eat healthy food, do some mental and physical exercises to keep us healthy and sane. So yan ha, take good care of yourself. We are very lucky in the Department of Education. As of this time, maraming disadvantages yung present situation natin. But if we are going to count the blessings, mas marami pa rin, di ba? First, we are alive. We are not affected. We are still alive and kicking, and that is very important. For me, that's number one priority. That's number one happening that I have to be thankful. So, count po tayo sa mga blessings na receive natin. We are still alive, healthy, hindi tayo infected, hindi tayo nagiging positive, and dapat pasalamat tayo. Number two is we are receiving our compensation and other benefits regularly. Tama? Because I had chance to discuss with other people, those in the private sector, at ang sabi nila is, mahirap talaga ang business ngayon. Mahirap lahat. Lahat mahirap. Mahirap nga, but tayo sa DepEd, we are receiving, aside from our regular salary, we are receiving all other benefits. And that is, we have to be thankful of God. Life, yung benefits natin as is. So, so ayan, dapat tayong pasalamat. So we have to be careful. We have to, ang sabi nga doon sa city is, ito, paborito ko ito, sinasabi, mantra ng city is, we have to stay home, save money, save life. So we have to do that for us to continue doing our work as public servant. Again, we are needed by the children. Needed po tayo ng ating mga principal. Needed po tayo ng DepEd. Kaya, importante sa amin sa DepEd, our medical officer is here, is you have to stay strong and healthy. So once again, welcome to this activity. Do not hesitate to ask questions and clarifications because the focal persons are in front of you. So daghang salamat once again, maayong buntag, and welcome to the orientation of the school-based feeding program. Good morning. So stay home, save money, and save lives. Welcome again.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Teresita S. Del Valle, for that very inspiring message. No, indeed, you are blessed. I am blessed. We are all blessed. So let us continue to thank God for all the blessings because we are still very lucky, no, na nandito tayo sa ating trabaho. And let us continue to be safe, not just for our family, kasi kailangan din tayo ng ating trabaho. So let's proceed. So before I'll introduce to you the next speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the participants who are virtually with us. We have participants from DepEd division level. So we have the SDO and the ASDS, the SDOD Chief School Governance Office Division, the SDO Finance Officer, and the SDO Finance Accountant, the SDO Budget Officer, the Medical Officer, the dentists, the SBFP, SDO focal person, and the nurses, the division nurses. We also have our representative from NDA Central Office and NDA Island Offices to Mr. Warren Pagdatu, our NDA representative from Region 11. We also have the Public Schools District Supervisors. Welcome po, maayong buntag. The district and cluster nurses, the dental aides, the dentist. We have the DepEd school level, school head, one school back representative, school-based feeding coordinators, mayong buntag sa tanan, mga ma'am sir, our school property custodians. So may I remind that the participants may use the comment section to raise the questions later on our open forum. And please avoid commenting, watching from, and good morning and the likes. Attendance link will be flashed on the screen at the end of the orientation. So link will be open until 5 p.m. only today. So without further ado, our next speaker will discuss of on the outcome on the recently concluded division monitoring and validation on the implementation of the school-based feeding program milk component, and this will be given by our nurse in charge, Miss Jill Michelle Coronel Ano. Good morning, Miss Jill.
Good morning, Ma'am Jazz.
Hello? Okay na po. Marinig na. Okay, good morning everyone. Once again po, nandito na naman ho tayo to discuss our school-based feeding program. First of all, I would like to extend our thanks po sa lahat na nag-implement na po ng ating first round ng ating milk feeding. So without po talaga ng support ng schools, hindi ho tayo magiging successful sa pag-implement na ating first round ng ating milk feeding component of the SPFP program. So thank you so much po sa ating mga coordinators, principals, and all of the teachers who have helped in the implementation of the program. So nandito we are here once again to discuss for our 2020 school year 2021-2022 na milk school-based feeding program, milk component, and the nutritious food products. So we have, let me share my screen po. Yan. The division monitoring and validation team, we conducted our monitoring and validation of the implementation of the school-based feeding program milk component. We have been in the field, nag-ikot ho kami para makita yung mga problema as well as best practices ng different schools. So ito po yung nakita namin na outcome. So let me share. So first of all, may mga findings na nakita namin. Packaging, packs, labeled, and are not indicated in its actual amount to be used. So ito yung one of the things na nakita namin na problema kasi ang nakalagay po sa label natin is the 75 ml instead na dapat 200 ml. And for the 200 ml packaging, printed logo is messy and when soiled in water. So remember, meron kasi ibang schools na makita na nagko-color green na yung water kasi nga yung mga packaging natin is parang natutuklap yung mga print. So, for our recommendation and ang nagawa na ho namin, we have raised the concern with the supplier and yung supplier po natin ng milk, may iba ho kasi yan silang supplier ng ilang pack. So, na bigay na din nila yung concern nila doon. So, they will change na po their packaging. Hopefully, by the implementation na naman natin ng second round ng ating milk feeding, machi-change na ho na yung packaging for the milk packs. Then next, another problem was the delivery. Meron ho tayong mga schools na not delivered on schedule or on time. Mostly nasa mga far-flung areas po yung nagka-problema nito. Pero dito sa downtown, less naman po yung problem natin. Problem mo kasi talaga sa far-flung, yun nga, malalayo as well as yung mga roads. Paminsan, hindi ho sila hindi siya accessible. Mahirap siya mapuntahan yung mga schools. So, what we did, we coordinated with the delivery team and given suggestions as to the route that they should take, especially for drop-off points with recipient schools who are far-flung areas. So yun nga, nakita nga namin since matagal magdating, so dapat unahin talaga yung mga schools na merong recipient schools na kailangan pa, na malalayo pa po yung pupuntahan. The next, the storage po ng ating milk. Nakita ho namin the most of the ice chests or storage boxes are filled with dirty ice blocks. So para po at least sanitized din yung mabigay natin ng mga milk sa product sa ating mga learners, nasabihan na din ho namin yung supplier with the concern po natin na ito. Then ito po yung pinaka number one na problem na nakita namin. The milk quality, at least 25% of the delivered milk packs, especially yung mga naka-packs, yung naka 200 ml, are spoiled. Most milk pack bottles are not frozen, resulting this to have the milk spoiled. So ang ginawa na ho namin ngayon, schools who opt for milk packs will be changed to bottles. This will be cost efficient both for the schools, yung howling expense natin, and for the parents since they will now only go to school on a once a week basis. Both parents and teachers will limit the possibility of acquiring the COVID-19 virus for face-to-face contact is limited. So for us po here in the division office, since nakita nga namin madami na pong nag-request, nagbigay na ho kayo ng letter of request ninyo to change your milk packs to bottles na po, we have made na nagpaalam na ho kami sa COA ang saang nakakuha na ho kami ng advice na mag-request letter lang po kami sa NDA requesting for the milk packs to be changed into bottles na po. So we have already done that. Waiting na lang ho kami for the reply of the NDA para at least magawa na ho namin ng papers dito sa division para hindi din ho tayong mapagalitan ng COA if ever. For the physical setup naman po, na nakita ho namin ito during sa pag-ikot namin. For the drop-off point schools, distribution area needs to be properly segregated to avoid confusions in the placement of the ice box. Ang problem po kasi na nakita namin during sa pag-ikot namin, pag-check namin sa drop-off point schools, for example, yung isang school, meron siyang 5 recipient schools na pupunta sa kanila. Ang problem doon is, okay yung kanyang area, gym, malaki. Pero pagdating po ng milk, yung mga teachers may social distancing sila, malalayo. Pero ang problema yung box, kahit saan na lang po nilalagay nung mga tig-deliver. So we recommend for the drop-off point school, next time po, pag mag-deliver na ho yung mga ating milk supplier, kung pwede po, mag-label na ho tayo. Labels with school name should be placed strategically to help the delivery personnel to orderly place the milk products. Nagka-problema ho ito, for example, meron ako yung isang school, meron akong 5 boxes, tapos hindi siya naka-grouping na nandun na talaga yung 5. Yung isang box nandoon sa right side, yung isang box na sa left side. So, ang mangyari niya, nakalimutan na ni teacher, naiwan na niya yung kanyang ice box. So, much better po, naka-label na ho talaga tayo. Meron na talagang designated area for this school 1, school 2, school 3, and so on. Then, some schools do not use barriers during the distribution of milk products. I-remind lang ho talaga natin yung schools na the barriers are for your safety din po talaga ng mga teachers. Kasi nga, kung hindi din tayo natin i-protect yung self natin, mas malataas din talaga yung chance na we can, the virus. Then with the forms, ito yung nakita namin during validation ng inyong mga forms. List of beneficiaries in SBFP Form 6 do not coincide with the consent form and distribution list. Pag nagva-validate ho kami, nagbo-monitor ho kami sa field, ang ginagawa ho namin, chine-check ho namin yung papers. So kahit wala yung beneficiary, sa papers na lang ho kami magtingin. So tinitingnan namin yung submitted ninyo na Form 6A, dapat mag-coincide siya sa consent forms and the distribution list. So yung tatlo na po yan, dapat kung makakita kami sa Form 6A, si Juan de la Cruz, dapat meron siyang consent form and nandun din po siya sa distribution list natin and nakapirma po siya doon sa distribution list. So next problem, yun din po, consent forms. Kailangan mo din pa rin natin ang papirmahan yung ating consent forms kasi ito po yung ating proof na pumayag talaga yung parents na bigyan ho natin ng milk products yung kanilang mga anak. And then, no distribution list to the beneficiaries, parent recipients. Same po ito pag distribute natin ng modules, kailangan ho din, same sa milk, kailangan ho meron tayong distribution list. Kasi para at least meron tayong proof na nabigay ho talaga natin yung ating mga milk products sa ating mga beneficiaries. Then the IAR, the Inspection and Acceptance Report, are not completely filled up. So yun nga, pag-check namin, walang date delivered. Hindi po na-check yung box na complete or inspected to be of good quality. And paminsan po wala pong mga signature ng ating mga school inspection team. So our recommendation for these findings po, so ito na po yun, conduct of review of the SBFP forms that are required. Yan po yung gagawin natin ngayon para at least yung mga questions and ma-clarify po natin on how to fill up the IAR. And then the district and cluster nurses will now be assigned doon sa school na yon, shall extend technical assistance to the school in filling up of SBFP forms. Kung may question yung coordinator, pwede ho natin tanongin nating mga district and cluster nurses. They will be there to guide you naman po para fill upan ng maayos and as well as ano po yung mga forms na kailangan po natin kailangan natin magawa para yun yung mga required forms natin. And of course, so nakita namin effective po yung mag-monitoring and validation tayo kasi at least makita talaga namin yung problema doon talaga sa field. Hindi lang yung magdating lang sa amin yung mga reports. Doon talaga kami, chine-check po talaga namin anong nangyayari sa field. Then next, the IAR signatories do not coincide with the SBFP Form 5 and the school inspection team. Ito din yung nakita naming problem, si SIT and the authorized consignees, parehas po yung mga personnel. Kung si SIT, si authorized consignee, nandoon si feeding coordinator, nandoon din po siya sa SIT. Dapat po, iba na po yung personnel na ilalagay natin dyan. So later, we will review po yung ating mga SBFP forms. Then, SBFP forms have no signature. Kompleto ng form si teacher. Pagtingin namin sa baba, wala ho siyang signed by the teacher or prepared by as well as the approved by the principal. So, ano tayo ngayon? So, for the papers talaga, kailangan ho na meron signature tayo. And then, may mga schools po yung wrong template to be used. So, later, magre-review po tayo. So, same recommendation po as kanina. Mag-review. You can ask your district and cluster nurses, and of course, we will still continue our monitoring and validation in the field. Meron din tayong mga best practices. Aside from that, of course, nakita namin may mga schools talaga na nag-extend talaga na kanilang mga effort. So meron talaga silang school floor plan. So makita mo, planado po talaga yung kanilang pag-distribute ng mga milk. Meron ding school nagbigay ng justification letters as to the change of beneficiaries due to parents who cannot pick up milk. If since 2019 tayo na beneficiaries, tapos change po niya yung kanyang mga beneficiaries for the 2020, for the 2021 na milk feeding implementation, kasi nga yung mga parents, hindi nga sila makakakuha. So, meron talagang mga justification letters na available para if ever ma-question bakit pinalitan yung ating beneficiaries, meron talaga siyang mapakita. And then we have the partnership with the barangay nutrition scholars, as to disseminate naman po the information that the milk is ready for pickup. Distribution time as to when parents per grade level can pick up the milk product. So gumawa talaga sila ng schedule. Some schools have schedule of teachers to be assigned during the pickup of the milk product. So para at least hindi naman masyadong mahirapan talaga si feeding coordinator na siya lahat ang mag-distribute. Nagtulungan po talaga yung mga teachers natin. Then next, we have the provision of 1 ice box per section through private partners to hasten the distribution of milk products. Meron talagang isang school, naghanap sila ng partner. So para hindi magtapok dito sa ating feeding room, nasa classroom na sila, sinasabay nila sa module, tapos meron silang ice box na po, na doon na po yung mga milk products nila. Then next, we have the distribution of milk products is scheduled together with the distribution of modules, kasi yan nga yung naging problema natin. Si parent ayaw na niyang pumunta kasi kung galing na siya kahapon, babalik na naman siya ngayon to get the milk. So sinabay talaga nila yung module distribution with the milk natin na distribution. And we have the provision of the IEC materials for parents to read when waiting for their turn and picking up their fresh milk products. So habang nandun si parent, naghihintay ng turn niya, may nababasa siya na ano ba talaga dapat ang nasa milk, anong titingnan niya, dapat i-check niya kung spoiled ba or whatever. So, other than that, can I ask Sir Gilbert? Meron ho kaming prepare na video presentation. We have submitted this to the regional office. So, nasubmit na ho ito sa central office. Ito po yung outcome ng ating monitoring and validation as well as yung implementation po talaga. So, this is for 3 weeks po sa pag-ikot namin. Last 3 weeks na po ito ang nakastart kami ng prepare po kasi ng presentation. So, may I ask po Sir Gilbert to please play po the video. Okay, so once again po, let me extend our heartfelt thank you po talaga sa lahat na nag-support as well as nagtrabaho po for this school-based feeding program, milk feeding component. So as you can see po sa presentation, meron po doon na for bidding po yung ating NFP, yung Nutritious Food Products for now, para hindi tayo malito with regards sa forms. Ang for today, more tayo on the milk feeding component. By Friday po, doon na ho tayong magsa-start for the NFP. Para for the milk feeding lang ho ang iisipin po talaga natin ngayon. So, okay na ho tayo for the output po ng ating mga schools. So next, on that next topic po natin, will be the inspection and acceptance report. Ito kasi yung nakita namin na problem natin sa field, sa pag-fill up po ng ating IAR. So I'll share my screen po. Okay, so review on how to fill out the inspection and acceptance report, the school-based feeding program milk component for 2020 funds. Yung last po natin na implement, yung first round, 2019 funds po yun. So for this round po, 2020 funds na po tayo ang gagamitin natin. So, drop-off point and recipient school. So ito po yung kailangan natin ma-remember. So the school, ang kailangan ho talaga magpirma ng ating IAR would be the school inspection team as well as the authorized consignees. So for the school inspection team or your school back members natin, they shall be designated by the school head. At least 3 members ho talaga ang ilalagay natin sa ating school inspection team na sila talaga yung mag-check, sila yung naka-assign for the feeding program, for the milk feeding. So they shall be the ones to do the inspection upon delivery and sign the needed documents, inspect the goods and ensure that they are in good quality for consumption of the beneficiaries, and accomplish and sign the inspection and acceptance report, yung IAR natin na form, at least 2 members of the SIT as proof that they have received the specified quantity and... wala na share? Stop share. For a while ha. Wala. Share ko ulit. Okay? Okay na. Okay. So ulitin ko po. This is the review lang po. Ha? Side view. Okay. Yan. Okay na. For a while ha. Hindi ako techie. Sige po. So again, review po ito ng ating IAR. Ulitin ko lang, ang IAR na nagapirma po dito is our school inspection team or the school back and the authorized consignees. So for the SIT po natin, at least 3 po ang i-assign ni school head, and then at least 2 members po ang dapat nakapirma po sa ating IAR. So also the SIT, they shall do a random inspection. So sila yung mga teachers natin na nagbibilang ng ating mga milk packs, yung mga kamay po natin, kamusta na ang mga kamay na malamig, yung mga binibilang natin, yung ice box, pagbilang natin ng mga milk packs, kamusta na yung mga kamay po natin dyan. They are the ones na nagbibilang, they are random inspection of the milk packs, every delivery as the quantity and quality of the milk, and they reject all milk packs that are unclean with the leaks and spoil subject to replacement by the supplier using their buffer stocks or on the next delivery. So, yung mga SIT natin, magagaling din sila magtingin kung if ever spoiled ba yung ating mga milk packs, alam na nila yung mga itsura na kailangan nila i-reject or yung okay pa ba na milk. So review lang po, ano ho yung kailangan natin i-check when inspecting our milk container or ice box. Pagdating ho talaga ng ating ice box or ice chest doon sa ating schools, kailangan ho, sealed ho siya, pero kailangan ho natin talaga buksan at bilangin para at least nandyan pa ho yung mga taga-NDA at kailangan yung ating mga suppliers para diretso na ho nila makita if ever may spoiled. Hindi na ho sila babalik-balik as well as kayo, pabalik pa ho kayo na drop-off point school. So then and there, i-check na ho talaga natin yung quality ng ating milk. So dapat in good condition. So good meaning sealed, exact content siya, 200 ml and or 1 liter. No sign of spoilage. So yung curdled milk, lumpy or rancid color ba siya. And yung quantity, dapat yung number of packs or bottles delivered is the right amount po as versus yung ating number of beneficiaries. Also, alam na ho ito ng mga SIT natin kung ano yung mga spoiled, short in volume, empty, and with leakage. Yan yung hindi ho natin dapat i-distribute or tanggapin natin ng mga milk. So, pag spoiled po siya, rancid color, curdled, lumpy, bloated, fermentation, yung pouch niya nagbo-bloat na siya, parang madami ng air sa loob, so nag-start na ho siya ng ferment. Yellowish, cream-like consistency, so short in volume, sealed and fresh, pero hindi naman siya nag-meet ng required volume, so pwede ho natin siyang ibalik natin kay supplier. And then yung empty, paminsan may nasasali ho tayong mga pack na walang laman. And with leakage, makita ho kasi din ito kasi yung water po na nasa ice box, makikita natin na hindi na ho siya clear. Ano na siya, meron na siyang parang milky na yung water, kumbaga. Then for the authorized consignee, the school members of the authorized consignees are the school head, the school feeding coordinator, and school property custodian. The school property custodian or the school personnel designated by the school head for the purpose shall accept the inspected goods and sign the acceptance portion of the IAR. The designated personnel shall fill up the SBFP Form 5 list of authorized consignees. So, sino yung magpirma ng IAR? Si SIT and the authorized consignees. Dapat tatlong SIT ang i-assign ni principal, and then of course the authorized consignees, ito lang po talaga silang tatlo. School head, feeding coordinator, and the property custodian. So review lang natin, ito po yung form SBFP Form 5. Di ba meron ho tayong SBFP Form 5, SBFP Form 5A, and SBFP Form 5B. So for the Form 5 po, ito ho yung kinukuha ng mga representatives po natin from the NDA. Nagkagulo ho nito last time kasi parang ang nangyari is pati yung mga recipients ko hiningian na ng authorized list of consignees. So for this year, at least maayusin natin yung system natin, si drop-off point schools lang po talaga ang hihingian ni NDA. So this form shall be filled up by the drop-off point schools to be given to the NDA Dairy Cooperative supplier on the first delivery of milk. Only authorized consignees are allowed to receive the goods. So ito po yung Form 5. Kailangan ho ma-fill upan ito. So name ng school head, feeding coordinator, and the property custodian po. Tawag nito. So remind ho kami on the first day of delivery. Dapat ho available po ito. So lahat ng drop-off point schools are required to give this po to our NDA or the Dairy Cooperative representative who are kung sino ang nag-deliver sa schools ninyo. For the inspection and acceptance report, si drop-off point schools na po, tsaka kasi ang nangyayari last time, mas natatagalan kasi lahat po ng schools hinihingian ng IAR. So ang gagawin natin ngayon for 2021, si drop-off point school and between the NDA lang ho talaga tayo. So magbigay ho ako ng sample later paano ho mag-fill up ng ating IAR. So ito siya, for the drop-off point school, at least 2 members of the SIT shall sign on the inspection part. So kung makita ho niyo itong cursor ko, itong first two po, si SIT po ang pipirma nito. 3 po ang i-assign ni principal, pero at least 2 po dapat nakapirma dito for the SIT. And then for the third part po will be the Division Inspectorate. So usually ang gina-assign ho namin na Division Inspectorate is your nurses assigned po sa inyo or yung ADAS po. Kasi nga, madami, yung ibang districts kasi madami ang delivery drop-off point schools, so hindi ho kaya ng nurses na sila lahat ang mag-iikot. So kasali na ho yung ADAS. For this 2020 po, we will release new po na mga Division Inspectorate po para mag-check ng ating mga IAR during the delivery of the milk. And then this part po, yung acceptance portion, ang pipirma ho dito, it's either the property custodian, the principal, or the school feeding coordinator. Sila lang ho ang pipirma dito. Hindi ho pwede na si school feeding coordinator, nandito na siya sa acceptance portion, siya din ho ang magpirma na SIT. Hindi ho siya pwede na ganun. So dapat po, yung 6 na tao na assign for na magpirma ng ating IAR, different po talaga sila. Then next, for the drop-off point schools, ang gagawin ho ninyo na IAR will be 3 original copies. This will be between the NDA and the drop-off point schools. Ang isang copy po ng IAR is ibibigay ninyo sa NDA, and then 2 copies po, tataguin po siya ng drop-off point school. Isang copy po for the school, and then 1 copy if ever hihingi na po si accounting section natin ng copy ng ating IAR. Kasi si NDA kasi gagamitin nila yung IAR for liquidation purposes. So dito sa division level, tataguin muna ni drop-off point school, and then pag hihingiin na ni accounting section, at least meron ho tayong 2 copies. So bigay ho ako ng sample ng IAR for the drop-off point school. So sample po ito. Kita guys. Kita, Excel. So, okay. For example po ito. Yan. Kita ang screen? Okay. For example, ito siya, ang ginawa kong sample na drop-off point is the F. Bangoy Central Elementary School. So for the F. Bangoy po, ang number of beneficiaries niya is 257, and then the recipient schools are C. Reta and the J. Cruz Elementary School. So kung makita ho ninyo dito, may PO number po, ibibigay ko po later ang mga PO numbers ninyo per batch. So same batch po tayo ha, yung first batch is still first batch, yung second batch po ng milk feeding, second batch po pa rin kayo. So since F. Bangoy belongs to the second batch, ang PO ho niya, nilagyan lang ho natin ng number 2. Ito ho yung usually nakakalimutan ng mga schools, ang date of delivery, dapat po nakalagay ho talaga na May 10, for example, ang date of delivery. So since the IAR will now be between the drop-off point school and the NDA, ang invoice po na gagawin, ang invoice number po na ilalagay ni F. Bangoy sa kanyang IAR, dapat yung 3 schools po, including the school itself. So F. Bangoy, the invoice number ni F. Bangoy, C. Reta, and the J. Cruz. So yung 3 na po ang ilalagay sa kanyang IAR para at least lesser na po yung magpipirma ng mga IAR. Si drop-off point school na lang talaga yung kausap ni NDA. So since si Bangoy po is naka-bottle, so 257 bens, nandito ho siya, 1 liter, 257 bens times 90 pesos per bottle. So 90 times 257 is 23,130. For the packs naman po, since si C. Reta is 135 yung bens, and then si J. Cruz is 197 times 3 days, since Monday po ang delivery. Di ba pag Mondays, ang dinideliver is good for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So times 3 days siya, so 405 packs ang marireceive ni si Reta. Si J. Cruz naman is 591. So kung i-add natin yan, 996 packs. Kaya po dito, sa packs na natin, 996 times 18. So that's 17,928. So total of 41,058. So after po dyan, dito ho tayo sa baba. So this is for the drop-off point school pa rin. Huwag ho nating kalimutan maglagay ng date sa date inspected as well as the date received. Ito ho yung parating nakakalimutan, na-check namin na nakakalimutan lagyan ng date. And then of course, you have to check po the inspected, verified, and found in order to quantity and quality. So dito po magpipirma si SIT. So 3 ho yung tawag nito ang kanilang SIT for F. Bangoy. Yung first 2 po is galing dapat sa school. Itong third po should be our division inspector. For example po, yung nurse niyang nilagay namin. So, Ronica Loreto po ang ilalagay dito. So, siya na po yung pipirma on the third part. Kasi para makita na sign po siya ng ating Division Inspectorate. And dito po na part, the acceptance part, si property custodian, si feeding coordinator, or si school principal po ang pwedeng pumirma dito kasi sila yung nandoon nakalagay sa Form 5 natin. Again, do not forget po to check the complete po na box sa box natin. So ito yung for our drop-off point school. So balik po tayo sa doon na naman tayo for the recipient school. So okay na ho tayo for the drop-off point school. So between NDA and drop-off point schools lang po. Siya lang ho yung magbibigay ng Form 5 natin as well as the IAR sa NDA. Pero when it comes po sa recipient schools na ho tayo, ito ho yung ibibigay ni recipient school kay drop-off point school. Ibig sabihin, na-inspect and i-accept na niya yung na-receive na gatas ni drop-off point school. So it's still the same. Dalawang inspection team po from the school ang magpirma for the first and second part dito sa inspection officer. And then ang ika-third po is the division inspectorate po pa rin ang pipirma. And then of course, still the same ho dito. Si school property custodian, feeding coordinator, or the principal can sign po here in the authorized consignee kung sino po yung nilagay ninyo sa authorized consignees natin. Pero this will now only be between the recipient school and the drop-off point school. So para hindi naman lahat ang trabaho na kay drop-off point schools for the paper, si recipient schools naman siya ang gagawa ng kanyang sariling IAR. So since kanina, si drop-off point school gagawa ng 3 between drop-off and NDA, si recipient naman po gagawa ng 4. It will be between the drop-off point and the recipient school. Bakit po 4 copies na dapat original lahat? So 2 copies po will be given to the drop-off point school. Kasi nga, para at least merong proof si drop-off point school na yung binigay niyang milk, transfer na po yung responsibility from the drop-off to the recipient school na complete and of good quality na bigay na niya kay recipient school. So once, 2 copies for the drop-off point school. Yung isang copy for the school copy and then 1 copy for the SDO accounting section. Paghihingiin na ho ni accounting. And the other 2 copies po for the recipient school na siya. Copy ni school yung isa and then yung isa pwede niya i-attach for the liquidation of the transportation and delivery expense, also known as your hauling expenses. So, sample po tayo ng IAR from the recipient school. So since kanina si F. Banggoy po yung ating recipient school, drop-off point school, ang recipient schools niya is si Reta and si J. Cruz. So si Reta, 405 packs yung kanyang marireceive. So nilagay ho natin dito, 405 packs times 18 is 7,290. So the amount is 7,290. So same ho tayo, maglalagay pa rin ho siya ng PO number, the name of school, date of delivery, please do not forget. And then ang dito na lang sa invoice number, which is from the NDA, siya na lang po ang ilalagay since for Reta Elementary School na lang naman po ito. Then next, so dito, ang same po, check po natin yung mga boxes na inspected and verified for the inspection team. So ito po silang 3 yung inspection team na assigned for the feeding. So yung third po pa rin is still dapat division po na inspector. Yung i-assign po namin na inspector sa inyo. And then dito na part, the acceptance part, still, please check po na complete ba ang na-receive ninyo as well as the date received. For example, ang na-receive ko siya ng May 10 din, 2021. As well as na-inspect ko siya, dapat may date din po dito, May 10, 2021. So, please do not forget po to place yung ating mga dates kasi importante din po siya when upon liquidation or as part of your liquidation. So si Ma'am Elma M. Alforque, di ba siya po yung property custodian or the feeding coordinator or the principal po of Reta Elementary School. So for the recipient school, yung kanyang data lang po ang ilalagay dito. So same po with the J. Cruz na recipient school, Same lang po ng ginawa natin kanina for the Sireta. Yun lang, i-change na niya yung kanyang invoice number din. So dapat for J. Cruz lang po nag-invoice number. So PO number, date of delivery, the name of school, and invoice number, as well as kung ilang packs ang marireceive niya, and then the amount. You check also the box, date inspected. So dito pa rin is the division inspectorate. Kasi one time, di ba, pag deliver doon ng tawag nito ng supplier, doon sa drop-off, nandun naman din yung ating mga recipient school. So diretso na din nila mapipick up. So matutulungan nila yung drop-off point schools to check po the quantity and quality of the milk na din. So third part, division inspectorate po tayo dito ha. And then you have your acceptance portion. So i-click pa rin yung box, and then either the property custodian, the feeding coordinator, and the principal po dito na part. So hindi ho, again, hindi ho pwede same ang nandito na side na personnel, same lang din po ang nilalagay nyo dito. Dapat iba po ang SIT, iba po ang ating authorized consignees. Okay. So ito po yung ating mga PO. So pwede ho natin tong picturean. Pero all the presentations po you will be given a Google link na lang po. Doon ida-download lang po namin doon. At the end na lang po ng ating orientation. So for batch 1, actually same lang ho lahat ang PO number. Magdi-differ lang po tayo. Lalagyan lang ho for 1 for batch 1, 2 for batch 2, and 3 for the batch 3 po natin. Okay. Okay. So, okay na ho tayo sa IAR. Bibigyan ho din namin kayo ng blank. So, ang ibibigay namin sa inyo na mga files, bigyan namin ho kayo ng sample na IAR, and then we will also give you the blank na IAR. Again, we would like to remind everyone, naka-red lang ho siya kasi kailangan ho nyo siya i-change. And then tinanggal na lang ho namin yung problema na nakita namin sa field, naka-yellow pa rin siya. Kasi ang ginawa ho namin, i-highlight ho namin yan ng yellow para hindi ho nyo makalimutan na dyan ho mag-fill up. Pero ang problema po, hindi na-erase. So since it's an official document po, tinanggal na lang namin yung yellow. Just make sure po na ma-change talaga itong mga quantity. Dapat yung number talaga, amount po talaga. And then of course, ito, fill upan na lang mo ninyo ng SIT as well as the property custodians as your authorized consignee. So please, i-change na lang din ho natin yung color ng font. I-black lang ho talaga natin lahat. We just made it red po para at least easier po sa inyo na ay, tama pala, again po ito. Kasi kung i-blank namin, baka ma-leave blank na lang din po ninyo. And then date of delivery and the invoice number, alam na ho ninyo yan, na-practice na ho ninyo yan for 3 weeks, I think. And then, ito, kung ml ang tatanggapin, so naka-8 sa'yo per pack. And then, kung liters naman ang tatanggapin or bottles, naka-90 pesos po tayo per bottle. So, okay. Sige po. So, that's all for the IAR. So, 10:30 pa. Sige po. So, is it okay mag-proceed tayo or mag-break, Ma'am Jazz? Proceed? Sige, kaya pa no. Mabilis lang po talaga ang first day. Mas mahirap ng konti yung second day po kasi. So proceed na lang po tayo yung afternoon session sana. The safety protocols, run through lang po tayo nito. Sorry. Madali lang kasi ang first day, reminders lang kasi ito review. Mas matagalo tayo for Friday kasi NFP. Bago kasi siya since may guidelines ho tayo na itatakel. Review lang ho talaga ito for the milk feeding component ng ating feeding program. So this is the safety protocol and reminders to implementing schools, milk feeding and nutritious food product setup. So lahat ho tayo makaka-receive ng milk. And then may dagdag ho tayo ng nutritious food products. So the nutritious food products will be discussed by Ma'am Roxanne by Friday. So the beneficiaries will be receiving bread, fruits, bread and fruit crops and fruits. Yan po ang ating menu by Friday po. Magdi-discuss si Ma'am Roxanne ng ating menu plan by Friday. So for the milk component na 2020 and the nutritious food products na 2020 funds. So baka magtaka kayo 2021 naman since nag-continuing po kasi siya. So i-continue natin implement yung ating SBFP. Remind lang po kami again and again, since meron nga tayong pandemic, the minimum public health standard should be met po upon distribution. Kasi yun nga yung nakita namin, merong iba lax lang po na walang barrier and everything para naman maprotektahan natin yung mga teachers natin, especially since kayo nag-distribute and mas madami ho kayong na e-encounter na mga parents po natin. Dapat meron ho tayong entrance, exit, waiting area, receiving area, and area for signing of documents. Also, yung ating health precautions. Yung ating QR code din, yung ating health and declaration form should be available po sa school. So, pag pasok po namin ng school, paminsan nakakalimutan na ho kaming i-check yung aming temperature. Nakatry ho kami, dire-diretso lang kami pasok. So, hindi din kami, try nga natin kung dire-diretso or mag-stop, hindi kami nagtumigil sa guard. Pumasok lang kami diretso sa school. So, kahit visitors po sa schools ninyo, i-remind ho namin na kung pwede, meron talaga tayong temperature check as well as your QR coding po para at least naka-document po tayo lahat. Of course, meron ho sana tayong alcohol stations, foot bath, barriers, and of course yung signages natin. Madami tayong din schools na nag-prepare ho talaga ng mga signages na dito. Diri mo tindog, diri mo linya, murag ana, tapos diri na side ang exit, pikas na side ang entrance. So, thank you so much for the effort talaga ng schools in implementing our minimum public health standards. So again, same lang po ito dati. Nadagdagan lang ho talaga ng nutritious food products natin. So, still, pwede ho ninyo tong i-edit, i-personalize po ninyo sa depende on the area na binigay ng school for the distribution and receiving area of our milk products and NFP. So ang i-remember lang po natin, hindi lang po milk lang ang matatanggap natin as well as the nutritious food products madi-deliver na po sa atin sa schools. So this floor plan po is for the tawag nito, supplier to drop-off point school. So for example, si Manggoy Central, kanina yung sample natin na drop-off point school. Dapat yung area niya, so may entrance, so dyan saan ibababa, receiving area ng ating milk as well as the NFP. Kasi ano namin ito, ang magiging problema nito if sabay-sabay nga silang dumating. Kasi yun kasi ang ano namin, para at least ang releasing natin sa parents is sabay-sabay din po siya. So dapat meron siyang place where the random inspection of the milk supplies by the SIT. So dapat, and the NFP din po ito, hindi lang po yung milk. Meron silang area talaga sa drop-off point school kung saan pwede nila bilangin at i-check yung mga supplies na dumating. So dapat may area kung where sila mag-arrange ng supplies. And then may area din ho tayo for signature. So mostly, ang ginagamit po ng drop-off point schools is the gym. Doon ho niya pinapababa yung ating mga milk supplies. Yun din, dapat i-remember natin, hindi lang ho milk talaga ang mada-drop off, pati yung nutritious food products natin. Nakapack na naman ho siya, yung mga NFP natin, and then per beneficiary na po, nakapack na ho yan. Pero hanapan ho talaga natin, as early as now, magplano na ho tayo, paano natin i-arrange sa ating receiving area. Then next, we have the drop-off point school to the school recipients, to the other school representative recipients po natin. So, of course, still the same, may releasing area and then may area din ho tayo for signature. Parang same lang din ho siya pag release ng ating mga supply from the milk supply and the NFP from our suppliers. Basta meron lang talagang area kung saan bibilang at ma-check ng ating mga SITs yung ating mga supplies para at least matulungan po ng recipient school, si drop-off point schools in checking. Sabay-sabay ho, yun ang practice na ho natin, na sabay-sabay na lang mag-check tayo para mas mabilis po ang pag-alis with pagkuha ng ating mga supplies. Then for the schools naman po, meron ho dapat tayong waiting area. Same pa rin last year, pero of course, you can personalize po depending on the size and location of your area in which you are going to release your milk products and the NFP. So kung pwede may entrance, magpirma, paunahin talaga natin pirma si parents sa ating distribution list before natin i-release para sure na nakapirma ho sa distribution. Kasi kung mauna natin yung release, baka hindi na siya magpirma, dire-diretso na siya labas. So dapat may area tayo kung saan mag-release ng supplies. So either the milk or the NFP, dapat maka-prepare na ho yung area natin kung saan tayo nag-release. Dalawa na ho yung i-release kasi natin na commodity. And I'm done. Okay, so later po na lang yung questions natin since review lang naman po ito, more or less how nakaayon ni sila sa ilahang mga pag-protocol sa ato ang schools. Ma'am Jazz?
Ako pa. Asa ka dapit? Asa ka ani?
For a while, nagsabot sa sila.
Review of number ka no? Review of number.
Kaya pa Ma'am Rox? Okay, carry daw. Dahil lang, stop sharing.
Okay.
Naka-mute po si ako. Okay, maraming salamat Miss Jill. Medyo maaga tayo natapos, no? As expected. So kung may mga questions po kayo regarding Miss Jill's discussion, please save them on our open forum later. So we will proceed directly to the next speaker. She will discuss about the review of number of beneficiaries per school and timeline of the milk implementation. So our next speaker is our secondary school nurse in charge. Tama ba? She is none other than Miss Roxanne Pardillo Jugara. Maayong buntag, Miss Rox. Preparing pa si Miss Rox sa kanyang slides.
Yes po. Once again, good morning to each and every one of you. My respect to our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Reynaldo M. Galiana, Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Deduyo and Dr. Ferman, SGOD Chief, Dr. Teresita F. Del Valle, and our Medical Officer, Dr. Richel Aresco, and to all who are in attendance into this virtual orientation, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So at this point po, I will discuss to you and review the timeline on the actual number of beneficiaries for this school year for our milk feeding component implementation, as well as I will just discuss a bit on the important matters on and review the guidelines that was previously discussed last year during our orientation in the DepEd Order number 36 series of 2020, and then I will also discuss the tentative timeline on the implementation of our milk component. So allow me to share my screen. Can you see my screen na po? Okay. So again, I will discuss to you the school-based feeding program milk component for the school year 2020 to 2021. So first po, these are the number of beneficiaries per school for our batch 1. Again po, ang ating implementation po is by batches again. Batch 1, batch 2, and batch 3. For our batch 1, you will be provided with fresh milk. Yun pong kagaya dati na nilalagay po sa pouches or in bottles or yung liters. For our batch 2 as well, fresh milk pa rin po, but for our batch 3, you will be provided with sterilized milk packs. So for our batch 1, for the 1st Congressional District, for MAA District po, MAA Central have a total number of 150 beneficiaries, JL Escoda ES 100, Magtuod 61, Matina Pangi 104, Kabakan ES 175, SIR ES 241, with a total number of beneficiaries for MAA District at 834. For Matina District po and our cluster 2, since po yung IS schools natin is belong na po sa cluster 2. So Matina Central at have a total of 350 beneficiaries, Don Manuel Gutierrez Elementary School 300, GSIS Heights 76, C. Mariano ES 74, New Matina ES 65, Matina Aplaya 189, Bayanihan IS 59, Diego Silang ES 189 with a total number of beneficiaries to 1,302. For Talomo A District, A Mabini have a total of 179, Catalunan Grande 257, Catalunan Pequeño 251, Davao City Special School 182, Dr. Jovito ES 33, Doña Soledad Dolor ES 170, Generoso ES 89, Leon Garcia 91, RC Kimpo 107, San Lorenzo 98 for a total of 1,404 beneficiaries for Talomo A District. For Talomo B District, Talomo Central 279, Bonifacio 109, Bago 144, Balyok 90, J. Bastida ES 150 with a total number of 772 beneficiaries for Talomo B District. For Baguio District, we have a total of Baguio Central 124, Bala 44, Cadalian 31, Gumalang 63, Kidali as well is 63, Makatabo 53, Malagos 77, Malalan ES 30, Mangasas 27, Tambobong 80, Tamugan 34, Rosalia Aglay Ayag ES 33, Venus 64, Luyan 40 with a total of 763 beneficiaries. Binugaw District, Binugaw Central 188, CB Bangoy 31, C. Rawan 67, Tagorano 76, Mount Apo 57, and Lourdes ES 92 with a total number of 511 beneficiaries. For Kalinan District and Cluster 7, Kalinan Central 236, Kawayan 80, Joaquin 59, Lacson IS 147, 145 I mean, Villafuerte 143, Pangyan 40, P. Rodriguez 66, Quirino 102, Riverside 100, Sirib 57, Subasta 40, Tamayong 101, Upper Sirib 86, and Wangan ES 72 with a total of 1,327 beneficiaries. For Daliawan District, Don Juan 350, JV Ferios 130, R. Magsaysay 218, Santa Clara 214, and VS Bangoy 126 with a total of 1,038 beneficiaries. For General Rojas District na batch 1 po, Jan Rojas Central 203, Lower Tamugan 133, Lamanan ES 100, Inayangan 133, Pablo Cebu 151, Pangyan 99, Popo 83, and Saloy ES 153 with a total of 955 beneficiaries. For Piedad District, Piedad Central 350, A. Loyola 188, Alambre 100, Bangkas Heights 103, Batolosa 135, Baracayo Integrated School 33, Gasco and Santina IS 158, Manambulan ES 59, Mulig 100, Quezon 101, San Miguel 164, Tagluno ES 50, and Tungkalan ES 30 with a total number of beneficiaries for Piedad and Cluster 5, 1,571 beneficiaries. And lastly, for our Tugbok District and Cluster 6, Barbarona 75, Bago Oshiro 58, Balingaeng 108, Bartolome IS 52, Biao 61, Biao Gianga 78, Carmen 42, Imelda ES 237, Los Amigos 244, Luman ES 22, Matina Biao 71, Mintal Elementary School 372, Takunan 65, Tagakpan 71, Talandang 40, Tugbok Central 289, Ula 91, and Vinson's Elementary School 92 with a total number of 2,068 beneficiaries. So ang accumulation po natin for our batch 1 implementing schools, we have a total of 12,545 beneficiaries for the pasteurized fresh milk. Now for our batch 2, this again, this will be provided with a pasteurized fresh milk. Davao Central District, Bolton 96, Cesario Villabrile 350, Marfori 138, Capitan Tomas 383, Magallanes 350, Palma Hill 130, and Wireless ES 175 with a total 1,622 beneficiaries for Davao Central District. Santa Ana District, Santa Ana Central 250, Quezon, Rizal, Rojas 150 beneficiaries, Agdao, CM Garcia, and Zonta ES a total of 100 beneficiaries. So with a total of 1,000 beneficiaries for Santa Ana District. Next is for the San Roque, J. Porras 247, Ubalde 124, Lapu-Lapu 300, Don Julian 259, San Juan 306, San Roque 195, Quirino 77, Dizon 110, and JP Laurel 74 with a total number of 1,692 beneficiaries. Bangoy District, F. Bangoy Central 257, Quezon 290, Doña Asuncion Hizon 245, C. Reta 135, J. Cruz 197, VL Angliongto 121 with a total number of 1,245 beneficiaries. For our Buhangin District and Cluster 3, Acacia ES 49, Banganga ES 19, Buhangin Central 278, Cabantian 249, Calyawa 107, Cabunal 187, Dumanlas 171, Fatima 66, Galon 53, Lampa Lapidan 72, Pilar Rodriguez 152, PS Carriado 60, San Isidro 162, St. Jude 170, Tiawad Echeverria 128, TD Fernandez 144, and Buaan 100 beneficiaries with a total number of 2,167. For our Bunawan District and Cluster 4, Buhisan 255, Bunawan Aplaya 109, DM Perez 152, Calderon 110, Datungan 44, Mahayag 111, Mudyang 100, Piatos 68, San Miguel 100, and Santo Niño 168 with a total of 1,217. And for our Tibongco District, Osmeña 253, Aflec 240, Corcuera 211, Bustamante Central 248, Sixto Babaw 310, and Pichon 205 with a total of 1,441. So our grand total beneficiaries for batch 2 are 10,384. So I will present to you the identified schools who opted to change their packaging. So may ibang schools po kasi na from milk packs gusto nila mag-request ng liters since nakikita nila na mas okay ang paggamit ng liters. So nakasubmit na po kami ng letter to the NTA while waiting na lang po kami for the reply letter if mag-grant nila yung ating request. So makikita niyo ba yung Excel file? Nakita? Wait lang ha. Stop share. Stop share. New share. So this one, can you see? Wait lang. So for Maad district, they will remain in letters. Matina will remain in letters. For Talomo district, from milk packs po, they will replace it into liters. So all schools po for Talomo district mag-change into liters. Baguio district po, there are schools lang po na mag-change into liters, while Kidali ES and Mangas-As ES will remain in milk packs. So for Binugao district, only Binugao Central and CB Bangoy ES will remain in milk packs. The rest of the identified schools will replace it into liters. For Kalinan district will remain into liters. Daliawan district as well will remain in liters. General Rojas district, General Rojas Central, Lower Tamugan, and Lamanan ES will remain in milk packs, while the other identified schools will replace into letters. For Piedad District po, ang magre-remain lang po into milk packs is Baracayo Integrated School and Tungkalan Elementary School. For Tugbok District, they will all remain in letters. For our batch 2, for Davao Central District, Santa Ana District, as well as for San Roque District, they will remain in letters. For Bangoy District po, only Doña Asuncion Hizon, C. Reta, and J. Cruz, as well as VL Angliongto will replace their milk packs into liters. For Buhangin District po, ang magre-replace all schools po pala will replace their milk packs into liters. For Bunawan District, all schools will replace their milk packs to liters. Tibongco District will remain in liters as well. So wait na lang po tayo for the reply letter from the NDA. Approved naman po kay COA that we will those schools who requested for milk packs will be granted po for the new packaging, which is the liters. So next, the number of beneficiaries for our batch 3 for Malabog and cluster 4, Alon ES 102, Baksarpa 53, Balugo 60, Betan 80, M. Goloman IS 85, Binuwang 70, Cabonbon 107, Mangmang and Kanoy IS 187, Don Mariano Marcos 51, V. Buntilao IS 65, Malabog Central 189, Malambuon IS 99, Megkawayan 111, Pamantawan 169, Panulawan 121, Polocon 69, and San Pablo IS 69, Santa Maria 26, and Sumimaw ES 86 with a total number of 1,799 beneficiaries. For our batch, Paquibato District, AL Navarra Central 162, A. Aledia 36, Butay 94, Colosas 95, Damilag 53, Dato Libayaw 72, Dato Manlangan 25, Galacia 24, Kiman Anao 84, Lumiad 44, Mangani 155, Paquibato 57, Paradise Embak 151, Pegdalahan 58, Salapawan 103, Sorayan 39, Tambongan 70, Tibungol 33 with a total number of 1,355 beneficiaries. Marilog A District. Marilog A District, Balalicosa 98, Kibangay 151, Manaong 74, Salaysay 51, Marahan West 48, Sumilop 139, Magsaysay 160, Taga-Ibo 138 with a total number of 859 beneficiaries, while Marilog B District, we have Balite 104, Bantol 73, Gumitan 141, Kibalang 54, Laho IS 64, Lumatag 96, Malacaba 84, Malamba 41, Malikongkong 202, and Upyan ES 106 with a total number of 965 beneficiaries for Marilog B District and Cluster A. Lastly, General Rojas District, Kabagbahangan ES 69, Darila 40, Dominga 94, Masicampo 70, Quiabaton 87, Tagbao 50, Titogop 102, and Unapan 81 with a total number of 593 beneficiaries. Our grand total beneficiaries for our batch 3 implementing schools is 5,571 beneficiaries, and the type of milk to be distributed is the sterilized fresh milk. Sterilized fresh milk po ang ibibigay natin sa batch 3 because the schools identified under batch 3 po are those schools na belong sa far-flung areas po natin and mahirap po i-access kung fresh milk po ang ibibigay sa kanila. So yung sterilized fresh milk po natin, this will last for about 6 months. So hindi po tayo medyo confident po tayo sa ating implementation kasi hindi po talaga madaling masira. Kasi sterilized fresh milk na po ang ibibigay sa inyo. So later on, I will show to you the actual packaging po of our sterilized fresh milk. So i-run through lang din po natin yung guidelines that was previously discussed po for our milk feeding kasi these are the important matters po with regards to our implementation of the milk feeding. So its objective is first to contribute to the beneficiaries' improvement in terms of classroom attendance, nutritional status, and school performance. So since nga po we are on this COVID-19 pandemic, our classroom attendance and our nutritional status hindi po siya feasible at this time kasi hindi nga po physically present ang ating mga learners sa ating schools. But this would also contribute to their classroom attendance, improvement of their attendance, and then their NS and their school performance. So this pasteurized fresh milk or our sterilized milk will be given po in addition to our hot meals or our nutritious food products. So at this point po kasi parang ibibigay siya as supplement to our beneficiaries. Next, the beneficiary scope and duration. The SBFP milk shall benefit the undernourished children from kinder to grade 6 who are covered under the school-based feeding program and may include all severely stunted or stunted pupils. Pupils at risk for dropping out are those PARDOS, IP learners, and learners from hard-to-reach areas or the last mile schools. So ang ating pong beneficiaries nito are selected based nga po sa ating school year 2019 and 2020 na report which are ang previously identified beneficiaries. So yun po siya ang ating beneficiaries pa rin for this school year. And the milk shall be provided to the beneficiaries for a period of 50 days. So ating pong implementation previously is 20 days. For this round po, we will be implementing this to 50 days. So since malapit na nga po, since our end of classes will be, I think, this coming July 10, medyo gipit na po tayo sa time. But later on, we will show you the tentative schedule for our milk feeding implementation. Now, financial requirements. Our budget allocation for the milk component, both for the fresh and the sterilized milk, is 18 pesos per beneficiary. Ang cost po per the 200 ml pouch is 18 pesos. Pero if liters naman po, that would be 90 pesos. So, 18 pesos pa rin po per beneficiary for the entire 50 days ang magiging kalalabasan. Now, the technical specifications of fresh milk packs, the specs po, or the specifications po for our fresh milk packs is based and in accordance with the specifications and quality standards on DepEd Order number 13 series of 2017. While the technical specifications po for our sterilized milk packs, the type of milk is the sterilized milk, the flavor is maybe flavored or non-flavored, but according to the National Dairy Authority, They will be providing us with the chocolate flavored. So ang batch 3 lang po natin ang magkakaroon ng chocolate flavored milk, while our batch 1 and our batch 2 identified schools will be receiving the non-flavored fresh milk. So its serving size is 180 to 200 ml or 1 liter, pero nasa 180 ml po ang ibibigay nila. For the quality, milk should be received in good condition, not expired, no signs of spoilage, not curdled, slimy, and or sour smell. Its packaging po individually packed in a food-grade seal or polyethylene pouches, or 1 pouch for the number of feeding days. The packaging must clearly and readably indicate the manufacturing date and expiration date. If possible, there must be an imprinted sign per pack which indicates not for sale. Later po, in the next slide, I'll present to you the actual packaging. So its expiration should be at least 6 months from the date of delivery. Nutritional content po, 140 to 160 kilocalories for energy, 4 to 6 grams for protein, 3 to 7 grams for fat, and 250 to 330 milligrams for calcium, and less than 120 milligrams for the sodium. So you can see po on the left lower portion, yan po yung actual picture ng milk pouch for the sterilized milk. Ang sterilized milk packs po will be distributed once or twice depending on the bulk of the milk packs kay isahang delivery na lang naman po siya. Hindi siya kagaya nasa fresh milk na weekly basis. Ito po isahang deliver. Depende po sa capacity ni NDA to deliver the milk packs. So the quality standards and the quality standards and delivery of fresh milk or fresh milk-based products. The mode, schedule, and other specifications of delivery shall be determined by the SDO and the supplier in consideration of the local conditions to be specified in the contract. For the fresh milk po, it will be delivered 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. in coordination pa rin po tayo with the delivery schedule from the National Dairy Authority kay Sir Warren Pagdato. So, or at least twice a week at the school during school days, every Mondays and Thursdays. Preferably kasi every Mondays to Wednesdays. Pero nag-request po si NDA kung pwede ba Thursday na lang. So, Monday and Thursdays na po ang ating delivery. For the sterilized milk, it would be delivered 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. once or twice, delivery depending on the bulk of food commodities. Next slide. So our delivery strategy, again, ito po yung pina-follow na natin dati. Parents can pick up the milk on designated days and time every Mondays and Thursdays. So I think all schools naman po, they are following this delivery strategy na yung parent na po ang kukuha sa schools. Next would be school personnel may opt to distribute the milk packs from the school to the homes of the beneficiaries. And lastly, school personnel may coordinate with partners such as the barangay or the national government offices to distribute the milk packs from the school to the homes of the beneficiaries. So kung may ma-identify po tayo na NGOs or partners from the barangay that they can help us to, they can assist us to deliver the milk to our beneficiaries, since we know po that most problem po ng schools na hindi po talaga na pick up ng parents yung kanilang allocation, no? So we can coordinate po with the barangay para po matulungan tayo in distributing the milk packs to the homes of the beneficiaries. This is a gentle reminder lang po to our parents, no? Even if the milk packs are to be consumed at home, it is important to communicate to the parents that the program recipients should be the ones who drink the milk. Sharing to other members of the family is highly discouraged. We all know naman po that our nature po, ang nature po ng Filipino culture is sharing is loving. So we would like to remind lang po din our parents that those who will be those who are the beneficiaries, sila lang din po yung makakatanggap. Para din naman po masaserve yung purpose ng ating milk feeding program. Next is the school inspection team, to be designated by the school head, shall do the inspection upon delivery and send the needed documents. This was discussed a while ago by Ms. Jill, that the school inspection team po is composed of the school bids and awards committee members. So they are separate po from the list, from the authorized consignees. Kasi po, di ba, yung authorized consignees po natin are composed of the school principal, the school-based feeding program coordinator, and the school property custodian. So the school inspection team po will be coming from the bids and awards committee members. Random inspection shall be conducted by the SIT, thus ensuring the quality and quantity of milk upon delivery. All milk packs should be clean, without leaks and not spoiled. They must ensure also that no bulging pulp packs, yellowish in color, curdled or with lumps, thick texture, slimy or chunky, ang makikita nila sa milk packs. Now, the storage and the control system. The schools division office shall ensure the effective, efficient, and systematic handling, storage, and distribution of the fresh milk. Don't worry naman po, because we will be designating po a division inspector team in order for us to monitor po the delivery of the milk packs. Safekeeping of milk stocks shall be the responsibility of the school head and the school personnel, and the fresh milk packs shall be stored in a cool, dry place. Next, the sterilized milk packs shall be stored in a secured, clean, pest-free, and well-ventilated area in the school. So the boxes of milk shall be piled on pallets. Okay. So for those, meron po kasing other schools that are asking kung paano ba daw sila mag-powdered milk packs na lang. Kasi mas easy ang handling and mas less po ang gastos ng parents, diba? Kasi one time lang nila kukunin ang milk packs. But we are we are last resort na po kasi ang procure natin ng powdered milk packs, since we are promoting nga po our local dairy farmers. So at this point po, fresh milk packs pa po ang ating i-distribute sa ating mga reachable areas. Well, for our far-flung, yun na po yung sterilized milk packs. So next, I will be presenting to you now the timeline of the milk component implementation. So the timeline po is tentative pa, subject pa po ito with the approval of the NDA. Pero I have coordinated yesterday with Ma'am Ryan Sanchez, yung focal person po ng milk component. Baka po by May 10, makakapag-start na po tayo ng implementation natin sa milk component. But I guess we will be running out of time since July 10 na po ang ating last implementation, and we have 3 batches to implement. So all divisions for Region 11 have not yet started the implementation of the milk feeding component for the 2020 funds. So lahat po tayo hindi pa nakakapagsimula. But I'll just present to you the tentative timeline of implementation. For our batch 1, we will be starting on May 10, and that will end on June 18. So for the first 2 weeks po of our implementation, we will not have the double feeding. We will have the double feeding on the 3rd week up to the 6th week. So for May 24 to June 18, we will have a double feeding. So to complete the 50 feeding days. This would be the delivery schedule. Mondays and Thursdays pa rin po ang indicated. So we will be providing you the electronic copy of this presentation para ma-review po ninyo kung kailan ang delivery schedules ng ating milk packs. So for milk packs, again, it will be on a twice-a-week delivery, while our milk bottles or our liters will be on a once-a-week basis. Again, this is subject to change depending on the advice from the National Dairy Authority or from the higher offices pa. Next would be the implementation of milk component for batch 2. This will start on June 21 and will end on July 30. But since nga po ang ating school year mag-e-end lang ng July 10, we will advise you on the actual dates of implementation through your district or cluster nurses na lang din po. So again, ang implementation po is first 2 weeks, we will not have the double feeding, but on the 4th and the 6th week, we will have a double feeding to complete the 50 feeding days. And again, we will wait for the advice from the NDA. And for our batch 3, ang batch 3 po, since sterilized milk packs po ang inyo, I have talked with Ma'am Rylin again yesterday, and kasi meron silang machine for the preparation ng sterilized milk packs natin. So, ipapadala pa ata nila sa Cotabato dun sa kanilang lead office if i-assess pa if makakaya ba nila talaga na isasabay natin si batch 2 and si batch 3 mai-implement. But if not po, on a separate date po si batch 3, subject for the approval again of the NDA. So I think that's all for the timeline and the review on the number of beneficiaries. Again, thank you and good morning.
Thank you very much, Ms. Rox, for that very informative discussion about the review of the number of beneficiaries per school and the timeline of the milk implementation. So I guess we are done with the first half of this orientation. So before the lunch break, may I remind the participants, sino po yung hindi nakapasok sa orientation, the pre-recorded orientation will be aired via the DepEd Facebook page. So also the attendance link will be flashed later after the orientation, at the end part of the orientation. So later after lunch, the discussion will be all about SBFP reporting forms of the milk component and of course the 45 minutes na open forum po. So you may take the lunch break and we hope to see you once again at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Tama ba? At 1 p.m. So, bye-bye. Our next discussion is all about the SBFP reporting forms on the milk component, and this will be discussed and tackled by our division nurse in charge, Ms. Jill Michelle Coronel Ano. Good afternoon, Ms. Jill.
Hi, Ma'am Jazz. Good afternoon po. So, good afternoon once again to everybody. Nakapag-lunch na ho sana ang lahat. Busog na and ready na po for our next session. This will be a short lang po na session since milk feeding ito, review na lang po as to our SBFP forms concerning our milk feeding component. So, i-highlight lang namin yung usual na nakikita namin sa field na meron tayong konting problema with regards to the forms po. So, let me share my screen. Okay. Sige po. So here po, so for the SBFP reporting forms, milk component for the 2020 funds na po tayo. So again, yung first round po natin, ang ginamit po natin is the 2019 funds. And then for this time na po, for the second round, 2020 funds na po ang gagamitin natin. So, first of all, we'll discuss po our distribution list. Ito po yung one of the things na nakita namin during our monitoring and validation. May ibang schools po, especially the drop-off point schools, na wala ho silang distribution list to their recipient schools po. So, ito po yung ating format ng distribution list. This is for the 200 ml pack. And this is for the 1 liter bottle. So para mas makita ho natin, buksan natin yung Excel niya. Again, lahat po ng discuss natin today and on Friday, the soft copies will be given to you via Google Drive. So ibibigay lang ho namin yung link by the end of the today orientation po natin. So here po, this is the distribution list of milk feeding supplies to school recipients. So this list will be done po by the drop-off point schools. So the drop-off point schools are the ones responsible para magpapirma po sa mga school recipients natin, yung mga kukuha ng milk pack sa inyong schools. So of course, self-explanatory na ho itong sa taas. District or cluster ninyo, name po ng drop-off point school, release batch number blank of blank. So for example, since 50 days po tayo for the milk feeding for the second round, so there will be, kumbaga, magda-double feeding tayo ng, Ma'am Rox, tama ba? Double feeding tayo ng since 50 days. 6 deliveries lang tayo. Tama? So 6 deliveries lang tayo kasi yung first 2 weeks hindi ho tayo magda-double feeding, but the remaining weeks po is magda-double feeding na tayo. So ang mangyayari nito, batch, if for bottle po tayo yung ating delivery, 6 deliveries lang po tayo since the remaining weeks po natin magda-double feeding na tayo. So 6 po tayo. For example, first week natin, so release batch 1, first po na delivery out of 6 para makita natin ikailang delivery day na po ito. As well as lagyan natin ng date release kung when tayo nag-deliver, when na-deliver sa atin. So for example, May 10, 2021. So batch 1 of 6 batches po ang lalabas for the bottle delivery. Ang ating for the packs naman po, dito na po yung for the pack. So kung bawa naka-sachet pa rin tayo, yung you opted to stay po as mag-sachet, so there will be 12 deliveries. Kasi instead of the 6 per bottles, times 2 man tayo mag-deliver if ever sachet. So 1 out of 12. And then date release, May 10 pa rin. First day man tayo ng delivery. Huwag po kalimutan talaga lagyan kung when po natin na-release yung milk. When na-deliver yung milk po. So, ang importante ho din dito sa distribution list na ito, mayroon ho ditong part, please check the box below if the recipient school certified that the milk received are in good condition, sealed, not expired, and have no signs of spoilage. Ito din yung nakakalimutan mostly during our pag-ikot namin sa schools. Hindi ho na-check kasi ito ho yung kumbaga inaalis na yung responsibility sa drop-off point school. Pagtanggap ng recipient school, i-check niya dapat dito na okay yung na-receive niya na milk. And then sinong nag-receive from that school. So for example, F. Banggoy says, quantity niya 257 sachets. For example lang po. So dapat i-check po niya ito. Check. Okay, parang ganyan lang. Lalagyan na lang yun ng check. And then receive by, so name po ng mag-receive from F. Banggoy. For example, yung nurse ang nag-receive. And then signature niya. And then yung released by po, ito din po ang nakita namin na hindi na-fill upan. Kung sino po nung nag-release ng milk sa kanila, it can be po the feeding coordinator na lang of that school. Then, since meron tayong distribution list from drop-off point to recipient school, dapat meron din ho tayong distribution list to our parents and guardians. As said nga kanina, parang module lang din po ang nire-release natin. So, kailangan ho lagyan ng name ng beneficiary, grade and section, and then please let the parents sign or the guardian na kung sino bang kumuha ng milk sa school, let them check po talaga the box na gina-certify po natin that the milk received are in good condition, sealed, not expired, and have no signs of spoilage. So pagbigay ng milk ni feeding coordinator kay parent or guardian ng beneficiary, sabayan na din og storya nga, ma'am, paki-check ko na okay ang data, sealed siya, dili siya dili guba, tawag nito, hindi siya spoiled, wala curdling, wala nagtibugol. Okay, pag-receive sa parent para at least safe po si school, makaingon siya nga, pagdawat ninyo, okay ang milk na inyong nadawat. So full name of recipient, so dito name na po ng parent. Kung dito, yung learner po ang ilalagay natin, kung sino yung name ng beneficiary, dito naman po yung parent ng beneficiary ang ilalagay dito. Then, sa pipirmahan po nung parent or guardian, date, and then, again, lagyan ho natin kung sino nag-release sa parent ng nung milk product natin. Kasi para at least matrace, mas madali ho nating matrace if ever may reklamo ba or merong kailangan i-check with regards to the distribution. Okay? So, tapos na po tayo sa distribution for the drop-off point school as well as for the recipient school. So, ito na din yung sa parents natin kanina, yung pinakita ako na second sheet po. Okay, another thing po na nakita namin na usual problem in the schools when we check po yung mga forms is our school inspection team. Nagkakagulo kasi talaga ang ibang schools with regards sa sino ba yung SIT at sino yung authorized consignee. Again, iba-iba ho dapat ang composition ng SIT and the authorized consignee. Pag school inspection team, ibig sabihin yung ating part ng school back, pag authorized consignee, it should be the principal, feeding coordinator, and the property custodian. Hindi ho pwede si property custodian dahil part siya ng back, siya din ho ang ilalagay sa inspection team. Dapat doon lang po si property custodian as authorized consignee. Dapat may separate members po tayo ng SIT. Nakasubmit na ho kayo nito noong 2019 pero since for 2020 funds na po ito, kailangan na naman ho natin mag-submit ng another listing ng SIT. Lalagyan lang ho natin yung sinubmit ninyo dati ng 2020 funds. Ito ho yung importante kasi for COA purposes din po ito. Kasi nga for the milk feeding for 2020, we have a budget of 25 million no, for the milk. 26 million for the milk, and then you have the 68,400,000 for the NFP. So malaki ho ang budget nito. Dapat ayusin din ho natin yung mga papeles para kasi ang this is to inform you also na by the time ho na mag-start na tayo ng ating delivery of milk and the nutritious food products, sasabay ho sa amin ang COA mag-iikot to check na okay talaga yung pag-receive ninyo ng mga products na hinahatid sa schools, the milk as well as the NFP. So dapat yung papers po natin should be ready po on site if ever iikot po si COA. So lagyan lang ho natin ng 2020 funds for school year. This is for school year 2021, 2022, and then 2020 funds po. Namali ang nandito po ha. So i-change natin SIT. So kung dito, lagyan lang po ito ng SY 2020 to 2021. So for this school year, pero ang ginamit ho natin na funds is the 2020 funds po for this second round ng ating milk feeding. So ito po yung fill upan ng school, and then for the district nurses and cluster nurses, i-consolidate nyo po lahat ng sinend sa inyo ng per school. So school dito, copy-paste na lang yung mga nurses, i-consolidate lahat na nag-submit sa inyo sa school. So during our monitoring po, yan, this is one of the things na hinahanap namin for us to validate your IAR. So please make this available po, readily available if ever po ma-timingan na kayo po ang mapuntahan namin, since sasabay nga ho si COA sa amin para at least ready yung mga papeles ninyo. Then next po, dito na tayo sa submission of forms na tayo. Okay. For SBFP Form 2, alam ko lahat familiar na po with the school-based feeding program na Form 2. This is the list of schools. Again, please submit soft copy and signed and approved hard copy. So for schools po, they shall submit it to the district or cluster head schools. Deadline would be April 26, 2021. Dapat masubmit na ninyo sa school because the district and the cluster nurses will consolidate pa po, and then the deadline will be on April 30. Hinote lang po namin memorandum to follow, so advance information na po to sa inyo. For the Form 2 po, yan po, nilagyan na lang namin ng school year 2020-2021 and then NFP and MFP. So nutritious food products and the milk feeding program na po natin yan. So para isa lang po tayo gagawa ng NFP again, ng Form 2 again, lagyan lang ho natin ito 2021 and school year 2020 to 2021, and then the NFP and MFP 2020 funds po. Yun po yung importante kasi na ang funds po na ginagamit natin this time will be the 2020 funds pa po. And then the next is the SBFP Form 5. Ito yung kanina na sinabi natin na si drop-off point school. This is the responsibility na of the drop-off point schools. Yung authorized consignee. Sino yung authorized consignee? Si principal, si feeding coordinator, and then si property custodian. Pasensya ho ay naulit-ulit ko kasi yung talaga ang nakita namin na problem during our visits po to school. So, para ma-sure na ho natin this time na ang ating authorized consignee is tama na po ang ating malagay sa ating Form 5. And then it should be given to the NDA or the dairy cooperative on the first day of delivery of milk. So no need na po magbigay nitong Form 5. Ang hihingiin po namin, so Form 5, si drop-off points ko lang gagawa at ibibigay na niya kay NDA or the dairy cooperative. Ang hihingiin ho ng district will be the Form 5A. Si Form 5A po, isasubmit po ito ni school to the district or cluster head school. So anong itsura ni Form 5A? So let's review lang po. This is the Form 5 kanina, yung ibibigay kay NDA. Pag Form 5A po, ito po yung ibibigay ninyo kay district or cluster nurse ninyo. So lalagyan lang ho ng telephone number, mobile number, email ad, complete address ng school, drop-off point ba siya or hindi siya or kung ano yung drop-off point niya, and then means of transportation. Authorized consignee. Again, iba ang authorized consignee sa school inspection team. Ang difference lang po nito na nasubmit ninyo last time, may nakalagay ho na 2020 funds. Ito lang ho talaga yung important for this form. Lagay lang natin yung mga name and designation ng mga ating authorized consignee, and then dagdag natin ho talaga itong 2020 funds. Again, magbigay lang ho kami ng template nito sa Google Drive po later at by Friday po. Then, next. SBFP Form 5B. Kung si Form 5A, si school ang gagawa at isasubmit niya kay district, si Form 5B naman, si cluster and district nurse po ang gagawa nito. So we will need the soft and signed and approved hard copy po. Yan po yung problem namin kasi nga sinasubmit namin ito kay COA. Lahat ng files po ninyo, scan po namin yan and then filed and then ginabigay ho namin yan kay COA for them to check po. Since malaki ho talaga kasi ang budget nitong feeding, they check all our papers na po na sinasubmit niyo dito sa amin sa division office. So si district nurse, i-consolidate niya si 5A into 5B. Si district nurse na po ang magsasubmit dito sa division office by April 30. Again, division memorandum to follow. So advance information po ito para at least ma-start na ho kayo prepare ng papers na kailangan.
Sige po. Ako po, dinig ayun po.
Okay. For the SPFP Form 6A, ito po yung list of beneficiaries natin per school. So nandito yung pangalan ng mga bata na ating bibigyan ng milk po. Yun nga, dapat, again, I'll just remind po, the Form 6A should coincide with your consent forms and should coincide with your distribution list. Ganun po mag-check sila na para ma-make sure that the milk talaga is umaabot po talaga doon sa ating beneficiary. So tatlo ho yung chine-check nila. Form 6A, dapat mag-coincide sa consent and mag-coincide din siya sa distribution list. So ang gumagawa nito is all the schools, i-collect, magbigay kayo ng copy po sa district. The district nurse will collect and check the submitted report before submitting to the division office. So all schools should submit their completed SPFP Form 6A to the district or cluster office by April 26. And then the cluster will now submit it to the division office by April 30. For the 6B naman, ito po ay consolidated lang ng number of beneficiaries ng ating milk feeding component. Ang gagawa ho nito will be the district nurse na po. Iko-consolidate nila yung number ng beneficiary with consent, without milk intolerance, and willing to participate. Yun nga yun na part, i-add kasi niyan siya lahat. So ang sample niyan, so 6A, ito yung 6A ha for the schools. Again, ang difference lang nito, nilagyan na naman siya ng 2020 funds. Yun po talaga yung need. So ang problem din pala na nakikita namin, pag-visit namin, for example, ito, si learner, si Juan, grade 1 lang ang nakalagay. So if ever, dapat lagyan po natin ng section kasi grade and section po ang nakalagay. So grade 1 orchid. So without milk intolerance siya. So 1 po ang ilalagay natin, hindi po check. Kasi sa baba po, ito total po yan lahat 1. So for example, si Juana na grade 1 orchid din, with milk intolerance siya but willing to participate, dito 1 ho ang ilalagay natin, hindi po check kasi mag-auto sum na ho siya dito sa baba. May total na ho siya. Kasi yung total po dito, i-check po yan ni nurse, ni district nurse and cluster nurse. Itra-transfer po niya yan dito. For example, si F. Bangoy Central kanina. So ilan yung without milk intolerance niya? So bawa ito, F. Bangoy itong 6A na ito. Makikita niya dito, 1 ang kanyang without milk intolerance and willing to participate, and then 1 din ang kanyang with milk intolerance but willing to participate. So si district nurse or si cluster nurse, dito na siya. Tapos 0 daw ang kanyang not allowed. Ganyan. Iko-consolidate po kasi siya in the end, and then kami naman sa division, iko-consolidate na naman namin lahat per district ang mangyayari nito. So next, yun lang po, wag po check again. I-remind ko lang po kayo, wag po check ang ilagay kung hindi number po. So 111 lang po talaga ito para in the end mag-automatic po siya mag-autosum sa baba. If ever magdagdag kayo ng beneficiary above po the total, ang gawin ninyo, mag-insert para at least kung magdagdag kayo, above po nitong 50, mag-insert kayo ng cell para masali po siya sa formula. Wag hudang below nung last ninyo na encode na under sa 50, dapat before po para at least hindi na ninyo kailangan tanggalin yung formula. Okay. After the 6A, the school inspection team, pinakita na ho kanina. Still, yung school inspection team, isasubmit ng school sa district or cluster head school by April 26. And then the school inspection team na district or cluster consolidated, isasubmit po ni district and cluster nurse on April 30. Still, memorandum to follow po pa rin siya. So, distribution, SIT, okay na tayo. Tayo mag-form 7. Okay. So, that's it for the forms po. Ulitin ko lang, ang need is submit ng school. Form 2. Form 5 for the drop-off points. Si school lang gagawa ng Form 5A, the authorized list of consignees. Iko-consolidate ni nurse sa Form 5B. Si Form 6A, si school ang gagawa. Magsasubmit din siya ng copy niyan, signed copy, signed and approved hard copy as well as the soft copy to the district nurse. Iko-collect the district nurse, isasubmit niya sa division office. And then for the 6B, si district nurse na po ang gagawa nito. Dapat nag-coincide yung number ng willing to participate but with lactose intolerance, mag-coincide siya sa 6A and then the 6B, the total po. And then the school inspection team, gagawa si school, isasubmit niya kay district or cluster nurse. In return, sa district and cluster nurse, i-consolidate na and then isubmit niya sa division office by April 30. That's it for the milk feeding forms. Then, last na lang po, reminders natin for all the implementing schools. During delivery of milk, the identified personnel that should be present during the delivery, dapat yung personnel na nandoon sa drop-off point school, ang pinaka-importanting persons po na dapat nandoon since they will be the ones to sign the IAR and the DR will be the at least two school inspection team and then one authorized consignee. Pero please please be reminded that the school head shall assign at least 3 school inspection team members na specifically for the milk feeding program. Kasi nga, for example, yung isang member may sakit or may kailangang puntahang iba, at least meron pa tayong 2 na makakapunta doon sa ating drop-off point schools to pick up the milk. And then the authorized consignee, it's the principal, feeding coordinator, and the property custodian. Again and again, iba po dapat ang SIT na members sa authorized consignee na members. Hindi pwede, di ba usually ang members ng back is the principal talaga kasali. So dapat yung 3 SIT na i-assign ni school principal for the milk feeding, hindi ho pwede na siya ang kasali doon. Iba na ho natin na personnel ang ilagay. So the identified personnel will sign the delivery receipt which is from the NDA. Si NDA ho ang magdadala nito. And then the inspection and acceptance report to be prepared by the school or produced by the school. Si drop-off point school, siya po ang gagawa ng IAR for the in between the recipient point school and the NDA. And then yung recipient school, kayo din po ang gagawa ng sarili ninyong IAR in between the recipient school and the drop-off point school naman. So reminders during the distribution of the milk drop-off point schools and for the recipient schools. Si drop-off point schools, please do not forget the distribution list natin, yung pinakita natin kanina, of milk supplies to the school recipients, and of course, yung distribution list din ninyo for the parents and guardians of the beneficiaries. Si recipient schools naman, distribution list po natin to parents and guardians po. And then it is the responsibility for the recipient schools to ensure that their milk supply are picked up during the exact time of delivery by the supplier or within an hour at the most to preserve the quality and freshness of milk. Immediately distribution of the recipient shall likewise follow. So ito po naman din, alam naman po natin yung practice na pag nandyan na yung supplier, pupunta na yung mga recipient schools sa drop-off point schools for them to pick up naman po their supplies. Okay, so that's it po for our SBFP forms and reminders for our implementing schools. Ma'am Jazz? Yes, Ma'am Jazz?
Yes, thank you, Miss Jill. So the next part of this orientation is already the open forum. And reminders po sa ating, while waiting for the questions, kung may questions po kayo, please feel free to write on the comment box in our YouTube link. So may I remind the participants, kung sino po yung hindi nakapasok at gustong pumasok, the pre-recorded orientation will be aired later sa page, Facebook page po ng DepEd Davao City. Okay, so saglit po at i-check natin kung may mga questions ba. So far, no, unlike sa first round natin, maraming question. Ngayon, parang walang question ang ating mga participants. Tama ba, Miss Rox? But kung meron kayong question at hindi kayo nakapag-question ngayon, pwede naman po ninyong i-course through sa mga district nurses natin. Sila po contact sa amin dito sa division.
Ma'am Joss, parang ang question nila, asan daw ang attendance link?
Okay, so yun. The attendance link will be flashed at the end of the orientation. So please wait for the attendance link. Same din sa day 2 natin on Friday. So last po natin ipa-flash yung ating attendance link. Wala po tayong question. So walang question, no? So we will proceed to the last part, which is the closing remarks. So the closing remarks, ay merong question. Okay. Good PM po. The same brand din ba ng milk ang ibigay for the second round? The same brand of milk.
For that question po, as to the brand po, I think the NDA po will undergo po its bidding process din. Hindi po namin sure if the same supplier ba yung magbibigay ng milk packs to the beneficiaries po. With that, i-refer po namin kay Sir Warren Pagdato if same pa rin po ba ang supplier. Ma'am Jess?
Okay, salamat Miss Rock. So we will update you on the brand ng milk na isusupply for the second round. Okay, so another question. Meron tayong question dito. Clarification po sana regarding sa SIT. Nalagay kasi naming mga school inspectorate namin na hindi kasali sa BAC.
Kasi nilagay kasi namin mga school inspectorate namin hindi kasali sa it's the discretion na po of our principal, school principal. So bigyan mo lang talaga sila ng school memorandum na part na sila ng inspection team na po, specifically for the milk inspection po natin. Ganun na lang. Since hindi siya nalagay sa inspectorate ng back. Much better ho kasi kung nandoon na, kasali na siya sa back kasi at least lesser na. Alam na niya anong gagawin. If ever naman hindi, kailangan lang po sila i-orient ng ating school principal and then of course, magawa lang mo talaga tayo ng school memorandum assigning them as part of the school inspection team of the school of the feeding program po natin for specifically for the milk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Miss Jill, for answering that question. So I guess wala nang nag-pop up na question.
My questions have been identified from through text message. Identified na ba ang ROHAS tickets as drop off instead of ROHAS and SASS? Yes, Ma'am Ben. Meron dito siyang memorandum. I forward it to you kasi nga since
Sorry, nakamute pala. Narinig ba? We will I'll forward to you the memorandum na lang po na change na ho namin si Agdaw to Rojas and then si Sases na nasa Rojas na yun. Nasa saan nga siya Quezon. Sa Quezon naka-station muna si Sases kasi nga ginamit siya as isolation facility. I-forward ko lang po sa iyo yung memorandum po. Yun na po ilagay natin sa iyong drop-off point. Si Sases and si Rojas.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jill. Meron tayong another question. In connection with the SIT po, nakapasa na kami ng SIT before nag-start ang milk feeding. So need po naming mag-submit ulit.
Yes po, ma'am. With regards to that, kasi nga yun nga yung sinabi kanina po, lagyan ho talaga natin ng for the 2020 fund. So at least meron na ho kayong draft, dagdagan na lang ninyo ng open close parenthesis 2020 funds kasi for 2019 funds po kasi yung first ninyo gi-submit. Kasi hindi lang din kasi yun yung naging problema, yun nga yung members ng authorized consignee, yun din ang nilalagay nila sa SIT. So para it's a chance na lang din for the other schools na to correct na lang din po yung ating mga members. Again, iba ho dapat ang member ng SIT sa member ng authorized consignee. Hindi po pwede na authorized consignee siya, SIT din po siya. Para hindi tayo magkalituan during the checking po of the IAR. Ma'am Rox? Nakamute ka, Ma'am Rox.
Okay, my question through a personal message po from Gasco and Celestina IS. Ma'am Elaine Joy Mara. About po sa letter of justification.
Okay. Wait lang ha. Mute ko na.
Okay, so question from Gasco and Celestina IS, Elaine Joy Mara. About po sa letter of justification of the beneficiary na i-change, pwede pa maghabol by this time? Yes po, ma'am, for since bago naman din po ang ating funds, for FY 2020, pwede pa rin po natin i-change yung ating mga beneficiaries, those who are kung ano pa yung reason behind. So pwede din po natin sila palitan provided po na ang ipapalit po natin is belong po doon sa priority list like the kindergarten or IP siya or IP Pardos, IP Pardos are kindergarten or those who are dedicated to be part of the said program na makakakuha siya ng milk packs in a weekly basis.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rox Jugarap. Meron tayong question from the YouTube link from San Lorenzo. Regarding po sa list of beneficiaries, pwede po bang palitan ang mga name sa mga nag-transfer na? Nakamute ko, sir.
For that question po, yes po ma'am, pwede po nating palitan yung ating beneficiaries provided na malilista siya doon sa ano po yun? Form 6A po natin ma'am.
Okay, may question din dito, Esmael Dael. Okay po ba ma'am ang expiry ng milk ay 1 week lang?
Okay, for the expiration date po of our fresh milk, indicated naman din po yan sa, kung bottles po ang pipiliin, indicated po yan sa bottles, nakalagay doon expiration date. It would last po until 5 days for the fresh milk. Pero for the sterilized milk po, it will last po up to 6 months.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rox. Merong question si Ma'am Nympha Kanya about sa additional beneficiaries per school. Di kasi na-discuss, hindi daw na-discuss kanina sa additional beneficiaries.
Yeah. Ma'am Nympha Kanya, ano pong ibig niyong sabihin sa additional beneficiaries po, ma'am? The one that was discussed kanina po was the actual number of beneficiaries po for the milk feeding. Kung ano po yung beneficiaries nyo, number of beneficiaries nyo last implementation, the first batch, same recipients pa rin po kayo for this cycle. So for the 2020 funds, same number of beneficiaries po tayo, ma'am.
Ay, okay po. Good afternoon.
Hello,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
kasi our district po nurse is nagbigay sa amin po ng list of schools to have the additional beneficiaries. That's why
NFP.
Opo. So, yun ang ano namin kasi kung if we are going to submit or to pass sa aming yung list of beneficiaries for this 2020 funds. So yun na ang naano ko kung isali ba yung kasi more than 200, I think that's 245 244 additional in my school.
Yes.
In our school. So kasali na ba yun o hindi pa po? Yun lang 195 lang ng San Roque Central.
Ma'am, isa-separate po natin yung number of beneficiaries ng milk at saka po ng NFP. Kasi po ma'am, si NFP po, nadagdagan po tayo kasi nag-double up po yung ating number of beneficiaries. Pero for your milk po ma'am, as is na lang po tayo sa, ilan po bang beneficiaries nyo?
195
as
po.
is po tayo dun sa 195 lang po muna ma'am. For the NFP, ma'am, yung ang gagawin na lang siguro natin is i-add on natin yung additional beneficiaries lang ninyo for the nutritious food products po, ma'am.
Okay po. Kasi ang pagkakaalam ko is the same. Pero yung 195, ma'am, na milk beneficiary, hindi yun sila makatanggap ng food packs o the same?
Makakatanggap rin po, ma'am. Kaya po,
okay.
ang i-add on na lang natin sa inyong Form 6A will be the additional, hindi pa na milk pa rin siya. So, Wait lang mama, clarify ko. Ang beneficiaries nyo ngayon for the milk is 195. Yes po,
95.
ma'am.
Yes po.
For the nutritious food products po, ma'am, madadagdagan po yan
Ng 244.
244 po yung total beneficiaries nyo, ma'am, or yung 244 po yung additional?
Additional po. Yan
Plus
ang i-add.
244. Oh, yes,
Yes,
po,
ma'am.
ma'am. So,
Magiging 439 na po lahat ang beneficiary.
Okay po, ma'am. So, yung 249 na additional, ma'am, bread lang talaga yung matatanggap nila. Hindi sila makakatanggap na ng milk.
Opo.
So, yung 195 mo, makakatanggap din po talaga yun ng bread for the NFP na
At least para ma-inform ko din yung mga grade heads and the master teachers per grade kasi baka may question din po sa mga parents to us na ba't wala silang milk, meron silang food packs. Okay, thank you for the clarification. God bless po.
Ma'am, just may question din si Sir Paolo G.
Ito si Miss Calamba, parang na-address na ba ito? Una kay Paolo G. Ang question niya is, pwede po ba ma-priority sa schedule of delivery ang dropping school na may identified na malalayo na schools?
Yes po, yan po yung one problem na nakita nga namin during our monitoring na yung mga malalayong schools po natin, yung mga drop-off points na may recipient schools na malalayong schools, we're talking with the supplier na kung pwede ba talaga na sila ang unahin kasi nga yung iba magbiyahe pa, may another 1 hour pa sila papunta. Sige lang po na please, if ever man wala pa rin siya na change, please inform your district nurses para at least ma-inform kami and then kukulitin namin si supplier na dapat ma-change po talaga yung kanilang delivery schedule. Dapat mauna ho talaga yung malalayong school as opposed to the schools na malalapit lang po. Kasi nga para for consideration na din po natin since malayo ho talaga yung biyahe. Kasi nakatry talaga din kami nagpunta talaga sa mga malayo ho talaga siya. Tsaka mahirap po talaga yung daan papunta doon sa mga schools na yon. So, Ma'am Jaso, si Ma'am Sir Paulo.
Okay. From Paulo G, ng Buhangin District Nurse natin, for feeding recipients po na same lang sa 2019 funds, need po mag-secure again ang consent this 2020 na budget.
If ang ginamit ho ninyo na consent form, i-share ko lang ha. Ang consent form kasi kung ito po ang ginamit ninyo yung consent form, may nakalagay na ho dito, gata sa loob ng 20 araw sa unang bahagi ng implementasyon at 50 araw sa ikalawang bahagi ng implementasyon na may kabuang 70 araw. Tagalog siya, no? If ever ito na consent form po ang nagamit ninyo, nakalagay naman ho doon, nasali na ho yung 50 days. So it's okay na po. Okay, taguin lang talaga natin yung consent na yun para kumbaga i-transfer natin siya for the 2020 na funds. Meron naman siyang consent so no need na sila mag-ulit ng consent since sinali na ho namin dito. Ginawa na ho namin yung consent na ganito na meron siyang 20 days for the first round and then 50 days for the second round para nga hindi na ho tayo uulit ng consent. Pero kung ibang consent form po ang nagamit natin at hindi ho ito nakalagay, kailangan ho natin maghingi ng bagong consent form na naka-state po talaga na good for 50 days na naman siya. Okay? Stop share. Yes. Okay. Ha? Kung if ever nag-change kayo ng beneficiaries, of course, the newly identified beneficiaries, kailangan ho talaga ng consent form. Kung hindi naman kayo nag-change and then yun na consent form ang nagamit nyo, it's okay na po. Basta make sure na during the monitoring and the validation from our side and the COA side, prepared ho lahat yung papers natin. Okay? May question pa po?
Okay, merong follow-up question si Mr. Ismael Dael. Pwede po ba makarecommend ng brand ng milk ang mga beneficiaries po, ma'am?
Recommend ng brand. Parang mahirap yun. Bawal kasi, ano ganyan, commercialization. Ano tawag niyan? Depend order, ano? Meron kasi tayong bawal mag-endorse ng brand if ever. So for the fresh milk ho talaga, si NDA ho talaga ang ating main supplier. Siya ho ang magtatap ng ating mga dairy cooperatives or yung mga farmers natin dito for the fresh milk, as well as the sterilized milk. Nagka-powdered milk lang ho talaga kami last time since hindi ho makakasupply si NDA ng sterilized milk for the last round natin, yung 2019 funds, yung first round natin. So since ngayon, may machine na ho si NDA, si mga suppliers natin, makaka-provide na ho kasi sila ng sterilized milk. So wala na ho yung brand ng, yung dating brand, yung pinadala namin, yung Milky man lang sa kanila, no? Kasi from their local dairy farmers, no, yung Milky. Hindi na ho mabalik yung si powdered milk. Hindi ko masabi yung brand. Ni powdered milk na binigay na ho natin for the third batch. Sige. Okay? Wala na yung question.
Meron pa pong question, Miss Jill from LPZF TV. Good afternoon. Pwede po ba ma-change ang drop-off point in a particular district in case the drop-off point used as a vaccination hub?
Ano yan na school? Si Mintal? Mintal, Baguio Central. Ang ginamit eh. Mintal ang problema. Mintal po ba ito na school? Yun nga, I think kung Mintal ito, nag-initial discussion na ako, nag-usap kami ni Ate Vivian last time na as early as now, sana meron tayong contingency plan or any type of hindi naman kasi siya as vaccination through and through 1 week or 2 weeks lang kasi siya usually ginagamit as vaccination centers like the Magallanes and the Mabini. Hindi ho siya straight for the whole school year, gagamitin siya as vaccination center eh. So, yun nga, kung Mintal ito siya, nag-usap na din kami at Vivian yesterday yata na kung makahanap na tayo ng way if ever kasi mas accessible kasi sa ibang schools. If ever, kailangan talaga i-change. So, pag-usapan na lang natin through your district nurse kay para hanapan namin ng way if ever. Kasi same yan na nangyari yun doon sa Davao Central na schools na ginawang mga isolation centers. Oo, mga isolation centers eh. Mabini ES siya. Oo, kasi vaccination siya, no. I think magpahinga, hindi ako sure sa schedule eh, kasi upon the availability of the vaccine naman din if ever gagamitin yung school as vaccination centers. So if ever ganun, hanapan lang natin ng way. So we'll talk with Ma'am Nelia na lang din po for the contingency plan na lang or any ano bang pwede namin gawin. Mag-change ng school. And then anong school yun? If ever man masabay talaga siya as vaccination center.
Okay, meron tayong question from Ma'am Melor from Daliaon District Nurse. During our school health section meeting, na-mention na may additional beds na kunin sa kinder.
Sige, Dams, NFP. NFP.
Ma'am Melor, for the the one that was discussed regarding for Okay. Ma'am Melor, with regards po sa meeting natin last time regarding the additional beneficiaries, that is po intended for our nutritious food products. The number of beneficiaries po for NFP will be discussed on Friday. For today po kasi nag-focus tayo sa milk. So for the beneficiaries of the milk, again po, the same number of feeding beneficiaries during the first round ng ating implementation. But for our nutritious food products po, mas marami po yung magiging beneficiaries natin. So magdodoble po kada school. So that will be discussed po on Friday. Thank you.
Okay, meron tayong question from Julmar Sabeliano. Pwede po ba palitan ng sterilized milk ang ibigay sa mga beneficiaries ng school namin? Mahirap po kasi ang transportation from drop-off point to school. from Macatabo Elementary School, Baguio District.
Sir from Macataba Elementary School po, for this round po ng implementation natin for the 2020-2021 po, hindi po tayo makakapalit ng two sterilized milk, sir. So kasi na-identify pag yung during the mapping po kasi fresh milk po ang nabigay po sa inyo. So hindi na po natin yung change for this round. Pero for 2021 po to 2022 na school year, bale by September, I guess, na implementation, possible po, sir, na baka magiging sterilized milk na yung sa inyo kasi ano po namin yung kay Sir Anthony Crisologo, pina-assess po namin if ano po yung bagay na milk po para sa inyo. If it is po far-flung area, tapos unreachable talaga siya, sir, that would be qualified po for the sterilized milk po, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Rox and Miss Jill. So far, wala na tayong additional question from our participants. So, wala na? So, wala nang hahabol dyan? Okay. So, let me remind all the participants na yung attendance link po natin will be flashed again at the end of this orientation. And also, the pre-recorded orientation will be aired later sa ating DepEd Davao City Facebook page. So without further ado, we will directly proceed to the closing program of this orientation. And please help me welcome our Medical Officer 3, Dr. Richelle Salcedo Aresco.
Hello po. Hello sa tanan. It is more than a year now that we are fighting for this worldwide pandemic brought by the COVID-19. Despite this pandemic, provision of education still continues, as well as the delivery of health programs in DepEd. The OK sa DepEd or the Oplan Kalusugan sa Department of Education, especially the school-based feeding program, which is one of the flagship of the OK sa DepEd. The provision of milk feeding program for 20 days was successful despite the challenges we encountered. From the preparation of the program, proposals, procurements, delivery of milks from the NDA to the drop-off points, then to the schools, and distribution to the learners through their parents by the teachers, and at the same time with the strict observance of our health protocols. All hard works and efforts had been exerted by the DepEd employees and by our partners. We believe that the next milk feeding and the nutritious food pack program will still be successful. None can stop DepEd from giving and providing education and health services to our learners as long as we collaborate and help each other with the support of our DepEd officials and government officials and with the guidance of our Almighty God through our fervent prayers. DepEd is the second home of the learners and we are considered as their second family. We can always do this for the love of our learners. So in behalf of our schools division superintendent, Sir Reynaldo M. Galeana, CESO 5, again, thank you for all your efforts and participation to give what is best to our learners. See you on Friday, April 16, 2021 for another orientation on the nutritious food packs. Again, should you have questions that had not been raised during this webinar, please course through to your district nurses. Good day and God bless us all.
Thank you, Doktora. Makita ko. Thank you, Doktora. Meron pa tayong, before we end this orientation, meron pa tayong isang pahabol na question from Jersam Bangkot. Miss Jill, one-time distribution pa rin po ba this time para mag-coincide po sa aming module distribution po?
Sir Jersam, tama ba Lacson IS? So, di ba naka-liters ho kayo? It will now depend na lang po on the strategy of the school. Much better kung isabay sa module distribution kasi nga para at least one time lang po pupunta si parent doon. So, it will be the strategy of the school na lang po as to the distribution. Pero ang i-remind lang po namin na at least kung pagdating today, yung milk, dapat by the next day, at least 2 days lang po siyang magstay sa school. Kasi nga, to avoid the spoilage na lang po natin. Para at least hindi masisira yung gatas. It will depend na po on the strategy of the school. Basta ang amin lang is hindi masisira yung milk doon sa school, proper storage siya, at saka mag-abot ho siya sa ating mga feeding beneficiaries. Kung tama ba na Lacson and 1 liter ka man, sir, no? Ang akong pagkabalo. Okay. Ma'am Jazz, okay na tayo?
Nice. Thank you very much, Miss Jill. Thank you so much also, Miss Rox, for answering the questions. No, I guess tapos na tayo. Wala nang question. I can see in my screen, wala nang question. So please stay online for the evaluation, which will serve as your attendance for today's orientation. And we hope to see you on Friday for the day 2. And it will be the same time. Correction, only attendance, there is no evaluation. So ang evaluation po natin will be on the last day or the day 2. So that would be on Friday. So we will see you. God bless everyone. Bye.